Well, hi, good morning. Thank you for joining me here, and thank you for the super thanks. It's June 24th. Yesterday was a big day in my shop because I found the problem that was causing this radio to choke badly, and I don't mean that in the electronic sense. But I must make a statement here that there's a chance what I was really doing was correcting my own error made much earlier during the capacitor replacement. Now I don't think that's the case, and I have not looked into that, and I'm not going to look into that. I'm going to continue with the story that I fixed a problem left in the radio, but frankly it could have just been me. I would be dishonest if I said I've never done that before, where I've introduced a problem and then spend a long time trying to find it. I think it's par for the course myself. It's certainly par for my course, but hopefully that didn't happen here. And in fact, the radio never worked well while it was here, and now it works really well. So, okay, let's start off with this. My capacitor I put in, I used this capacitor substitution box to do it. You can see the setting is 0.01. But what is the real capacitance in there? It could be 0.01. It could be close to 0.01. Let's just find out what is going on here. So I'm going to hook this up to a capacitor meter. Actually, it's a multi-component meter to do everything. What do you say? 7,900 picofarads, so that would be 0.007 microfarads, 0.008 in fact. So 0.008 is not too far from 0.01. It's close. A little smaller than I expected. Somehow I thought it would come back bigger. So we could put a permanent 0.01 in there. That position on the schematic shows a 0.5. 0.5 is a lot different than a 0.01. 0.01 seems to solve the part of the electronic problems with the radio at that point. Quells the oscillation that had broken out in it, and also provides a good signal ground for the coil. Without its ground, couldn't do anything basically. But it serves another purpose. It's on the AVC line. I hope I remember this right. And so it acts as a charge bucket to slow down the action of the AVC. Without that capacitor, there was always capacitance everywhere, all the time. Just very, very small, so it's not having any effect on anything. Tiny, tiny, tiny. But the tiny amount of capacitance that might be in the AVC circuit without that capacitor will, it's a small bucket, so you can fill it and empty it really quickly. And see my hands? That's what you get. You get this. It sounds like motorboating. You get a kind of motorboating problem out of it. If you have an insufficient size charge bucket on the AVC. 0.5 is what they're suggesting. 0.01 seemed to make the radio operate. Do I want to put in a permanent 0.01? Maybe I want to put in a 0.1. Kind of split the difference for now. Anyway, at this point, for now. I have a lot of 0.1 capacitors, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to put in a permanent 0.1. Can I put in two bigger ones here? I don't think so, really. 0.5 is awfully big. I'm not going to be anywhere near the far too big. 0.1 is smaller than 0.5. Check it out. Okay, I'm going to stick that capacitor in. Then we're going to find out some more about the operation of this radio. In particular, is there any shortwave operating now? Has that come to life? Okay, the 0.1 is in there. There it is right there. We're going to give the radio a go. Start on AM. Hopefully it's hooked up to the loop antenna behind me right now. This is the outdoor antenna lead. Nope.
Chasing the dragon of, I need 89. I'll settle for 91 of
Now,
my career level.
part of the reason why this radio is working this well is because it's on a powerful antenna. The loop antenna provides a powerful signal. But look, I got the volume minimal. Still here.
And this is a excellent text from Sean in King City.
That's really good.
If you want to guarantee good weather on the Gulf,
My hat is off to the guy who swapped all the tubes in this radio and did all that work. Fantastic. I even having seen this and worked on a radio like this, I don't think I would ever attempt it. Okay, what about shortwave? Well, the antenna I've got hooked up here is not... hey, let's tune through the band. Let's tune through the broadcast band. Now, it's on a tuned antenna. I have to run and tune the antenna every...
like MC Hammer. It's barely raising.
So that's 590. That's probably 610 in St. Catharines. That's on... that's about 150, 200 miles from here. In the city of St. Catharines, which is near Niagara Falls.
Capacitor club played at University College for over 100 years. So when they moved to this place, which is on Fort Town Line Road, not far from Lundy's Lane or Highway 20 on one side, and Fort Stone Road is on the other side. So I would say it could be walking distance from Beechwood Golf Club. That's how close it is. It's just that the sports league now considered one of the best in Canada.
Well, yeah, I want to get into that, Jen. I don't want to underwhelm this. This is people. You just said it.
That's wonderful. This is wonderful. This is among the best working radios I've had in here. So that's 680 hidden under some noise. So I won't tune the antenna, but this would work better if I did. I won't bother just yet. That's 740. Well, it might not be 740. Yeah, I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong about all these, in fact. Okay, so I'm going to retune the antenna here. Let's get a station. Can we get one? Okay.
Okay. Well, I just wondered if you were aware of it, because I, as I said, couldn't find my original where I got this from, and it just keeps popping up more and more in my garden.
Okay, so you need to take a picture and send.
Alright, so my email address, and Mustard, C, first initial C for Charlie, right? C dot, last name Dobbin, D-O-B-B-I-N, yes, C dot Dobbin at mzmedia.com. Okay, so take a couple of photos, close.
So what might be happening here too is the AVC may not be working properly, and the radio's volume is not self-controlled the way it would normally be. It could be the case.
Going to our first.
That's just fantastic volume here. Let's keep going. Now, one of my favorite test stations is a French station. It'll be up in this area. 680, I think it is. 860 rather.
Qui écrit un article qui s'appelle La colonisation écologique de l'espace. Il explique que dans les années 70, le désir en fait des écologistes a grandement été influencé par l'exploration spatiale, où c'était nécessaire de développer des panneaux solaires, des toilettes biologiques.
I'm really floored. This is like the best working radio I've ever had in my shop. I'm serious. We got to compare it with a standard radio here. Now, part of it is that antenna I'm using, but that antenna is not that amazing. Okay, so we take this radio and we're going to tune in 840, I think it is. 840. 840. 840. Maybe it's 860. $860. So this is how well this radio, this is a good little radio. You can hear a bit of a hiss and a roar in here.
Et là, il y a le défi des changements climatiques. Est-ce que l'espace peut nous aider ou est-ce qu'on peut faire des parallèles dans la mesure
much better sound here.
Ben,
Better
évidemment,
trouble.
Aller vivre sur une autre planète, c'est un milieu très très hostile à la vie, on l'imagine bien, il faut
Well, you can hear the background noise a little bit too, very similar. But much better sounding. Wow. Normally I can get no stations up here at this time of day. Nothing beyond here. Let's see what we can do. Okay, I'm going to tune the antenna again. Okay. Just leave it like that. There are some very weak stations up in this upper end of the band here. I'm going to tune the antenna again. You can see I've been turning up the volume as we've been moving away from the tune spot of the antenna. Let me tune it again. So it needs tuning again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune the antenna and I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. And we'll go back down. It's possible my antenna won't tune this high. So the antenna is very directional. It has a very deep null. It has a very sharp and deep null. And if you happen to have the null aimed at the station you're trying to pick up, you'll never pick it up. So that's why I've turned it 90 degrees to swing the lobes. Swing the lobes. Nobody home. No. With the antenna aimed the way it is, we don't get the French station anymore. Okay, well that's great. That's a great showing. We'll put a long wire on this antenna, put a long wire antenna on this radio, and the response might be entirely different. And why don't we find out? I'm going to go and do that. I have to turn the antenna on first. Okay, here we go. So this is on the loop antenna tuned and aimed. This is the strongest AM station I can get here. 590 in fact is the frequency. Now let's switch antennas. That's a pretty good demonstration of how the long wire antenna really is not suitable for AM radio as compared to a loop antenna. Now I got that great big ungainly loop behind me, but you can buy nice loop antennas tuned coil antennas, very suitable for a radio like this, and they're only about this big, and it could sit right on top of the radio. It looked actually kind of nice for 40-50 bucks or something. But I get the same effect as what I'm getting with that big broom pole antenna I've got. Yeah, it's made out of broom poles. Okay, well, I think it's time to go on to shortwave, because I have this antenna here, which I just disconnected. Let's reconnect it. This will work better on shortwave. Put this right on here. You know what? We'll start without a ground. Let's start without a ground connection. Ooh, that's interesting right there. Had a very good effect. Put the ground on.
Second or third most favorite club in my bag, but I have a like 2 year. I got it last year, 2 years ago.
I put the loop antenna back on. Oh wow! I thought a miracle had happened there for a second. No miracles in this world. Okay, just a little peek again. No AM. Okay, what do we get on shortwave? Now, before I do this, you know, it's 9:30 in the morning here. Not too sure what we would get on shortwave this time in the morning. Up in the higher frequencies, maybe. Let's give it a go. Oh, we're off to a bad start. So I suspect this doesn't work at all on shortwave. Let's find out. Oh, something happening. Okay. So this is 6 megahertz, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 17, and 18. So up in this area, we're more likely to pick some stuff up. Especially 9.3, I'm coming up on it right now. No. Often there's a very strong signal at 9.33 megahertz. We're going past 10. Okay, let's have some business now. Come on. Anybody? Sure sounds like it's working. "13 megahertz, a European shortwave broadcast band is in here." Nobody. Now, the sun has been spewing stuff out. The last shot apparently was not aimed at the Earth, but it could be that right at this moment the sun has knocked out a weakened shortwave radio. We got nobody. Okay, I'm going to lift the ground off here. It's a 19 meter band. Nobody. Nobody, nothing, no how. Okay, well, let's not give up because it sure sounds like it's trying. Let's give it a controlled signal here. This will answer the question for sure. We'll set this on 10, and then we're going to set my signal generator on 10. Unfortunately, my frequency counter's gone a little wonky right now. Okay, boys, read off the dials here. Maybe if I get down. Is this way. Here we are at 10. Okay. Turn the radio up. The radio is very quiet because it has a low impedance connection on the antenna. This is a very low signal. So that's a moderate antenna signal. Pretty much any radio would pick this up. Let's try. Whatsoever. Now I'm hitting the end of the band here at about 9, so let's move this up a little bit to make sure. So I'm up around 11 now. Loads the volume. Come on, man. No, it'll settle down eventually. 11. Okay, more juice. Every time I snap this control, the signal goes up by a factor of 10. 10. Wow. Nothing coming through. Oh, it's really behaving weird up here. What's it doing? Check the signal calibration here. Just a sec. It's very low. Maybe that's why we weren't hearing anything. More calibrated signal. Let's knock this down. Let's try again. I think we might get it this time. I didn't hear a thing. This would represent a very, very strong antenna signal. At this point I'm thinking, what's going wrong? What is going wrong? Anything more going wrong? Antenna's definitely connected. Ground is connected. Nothing whatsoever. Now if I remember, there was no local oscillator on this band. If that was a local oscillator, there's no hope of this radio receiving. Let's give it now this is a stupidly strong signal. Every radio is going to receive it within a mile. And it just absolutely nothing happened. My counter started working. So let's keep the diagnosing going. Let's find out if there's a local oscillator. So to do that, I will use my SDR radio here. Well, something really weird here. So this goes to the loop antenna, right? This is my loop antenna lead. No, it's not. I got confused here. This is actually the antenna input to my SDR radio. What? No. What? I must have, no. I couldn't have done that. Could I? Could I have hooked this up as the antenna and got a big result on the radio? No. I was tuning the antenna. I just must have picked up the wrong thing at some point or something. Who knows what the heck's going on? Who knows what's going on? I surely don't. Okay, so all we need to do is stick this coil anywhere near these guys. We're just going to stick it here. That's going to be good enough. We'll start by proving out the SDR is operating properly by putting this back on broadcast. Okay, I still have the signal generator connected. Let's unconnect it. Disconnected, I guess is the right word. Yeah. Okay, so local oscillator should be operating right now. We have this dialed in at 10, so it should be 14, somewhere around 1455. We should see the local oscillator here. Did I bump the camera at some point? Local oscillator. Okay, let's go take a look. And there it is there. That's the local oscillator right there. I'm going to tune the radio a little bit. And you see it moving. Excellent. Very good. Now, we're going to go up to shortwave here. That was quite interesting. I don't know if you... this is pretty weird. So, you see the oscillator still running at the same frequency. It never changed. Let me flip back. Saw this before. Now, I'm going to flip back. This is broadcast. When I flip over to shortwave, you're going to hear the volume be reasonably high. Not high. You're going to hear the volume go down on its own. Let me put it that way. Just a hiss. Here we go. So that would be the AVC voltage building up on the radio. Tune the radio. And there goes the local oscillator, and it's really supposed to be operating up around, what did I say? I've got the radio on shortwave, 10 megahertz. It should be, well, it should be up around 10 megahertz. Let's go up to around 10 megahertz here. Here we are. Do we see a great big signal? Okay, I'm going to tune the radio a bit. There's something moving over there. Now, whenever I do this using the SDR, I see all kinds of weird stuff like this. The radio has a tune sort of... I'm tuning it back and forth. Well, you can tell what I'm doing by the movement of the stuff here. It does seem to be receiving something. It's just a really weak local oscillator. Okay, so I'm going to set the radio again. These, yeah, I don't know what to say. 10. We're on 10 megahertz, so the local oscillator should be at 10.4, 10.455. It should be right in here. It's where it should be. But this thing we've been watching, I'm going to move my screen over here. It just doesn't have the juice of a local oscillator. Hard to say what's going on with that, with the oscillation down in the broadcast band. Look at it getting bigger. What I'm doing is I'm tuning to the bottom of the band here. How do I know where that's coming from? Well, it's got to be coming out of the radio. If I move this pickup coil, it goes away. So I'm going to stick the pickup coil. This is a big coil. So that's up against the oscillator coil in the radio. And these are the antenna coils. As best I can do it, with this great big floppy loop. So there's clearly something going on in the oscillator coil where we see that. If you have an oscillator circuit and you have two sets of coils and capacitors, one set to make the oscillator go at, let's say, 10,000, and another set to make the oscillator go at 200,000, and you hook up both sets to the oscillator amplifier, would you end up with both oscillators operating? Would you get the two frequencies? I think so. I think you would get two. Is that what's happening here? I flipped to shortwave. The local oscillator, the oscillating frequency for broadcast continues to operate. And along comes the other oscillator too, which we're looking at. We were looking at. We're looking at it. Where'd it go? I thought we were looking at something there. Okay. Well, the point is, what happened? It's just completely gone away. Oh, I know. I put the coil off to the side. There. Let's put the coil back in place. Could that be the true local oscillator? So it's oscillating at around 10 point... Wow, it's way off. So that is at about 10, well, between 10.5 10.7. That's about 10 point... It's about 10.7. That's a funny number too. 10.7. That means the radio's, based on this signal, is trying to convert 455 kilohertz away right around, I don't know, 3 or something like that, but the dial says 6.5 megahertz. So if that is the oscillator coils doing that, they're way off. They're just a million miles off. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to abandon the shortwave side of this radio. Just ignore it. I'm not going to abandon it. I'm just going to ignore it. And carry on with the broadcast side, which is working so well. And that's the side people probably want to, because it's working so well, use. And demonstrate and play and maybe even listen to a hockey game on this radio. But on shortwave, if you really want to do shortwave, this isn't the radio for it anyway. You need a multi-band radio. Let me flip back to the camera here. You really need a multi-band radio and maybe even a radio with band spread bands. This is like an all-in-one, starting way down at 6 megahertz, going all the way up to 18, crossing through 4 or 5 shortwave bands on the way. But other radios take those bands, stretch them out on the dial, and make you switch between them. That's a far better radio, vintage radio, for listening to shortwave than one like this. Okay, so that's my justification for carrying on with the AM side and kind of ignoring the shortwave side for now. And what is to be carried on with the AM side? I think an alignment is the only thing that's really needed, and is it even needed with a radio working this well? I can't remember what I did. I think I did a IF alignment and left the front end because of the trouble in the front end. So we would have to tune these capacitors down here to further make the dial accurate and further increase the radio sensitivity. Although, wow, do we really even want it more sensitive? Well, that's wonderful. And I think I'm going to end it right here. Tomorrow, we'll try to finalize everything. Tomorrow, go over the alignment again, and fantastic. This does have a fantastic cabinet. You may have noticed it. I'm swinging the camera like this. The cabinet's just sitting out there in the hallway. A beautiful, beautiful cabinet. So I think it would blow people away if they visited the owner of this radio, visited his house, and saw that radio and said, wow, that's a nice old radio. Doesn't work, does it? And you go, yeah, it does. Flip it on, and the next thing you know, 590, the sports channel is pouring out of the speaker. I think that would be pretty impressive. Okay, I'm going to call it quits here. So thanks a lot for watching this one. And like I say, tomorrow, alignment, and maybe done. I have 2 more like this ready to come in here too. Two more of this vintage, not 2 more that have been rebuilt by somebody. And once again, hats off to the guy who did all this work. And unfortunately, he's probably 6 feet under, but if he isn't, I would love him to know that this radio is here and it's being resurrected to whatever degree it needed, and it's carrying on. That all his work is going to carry forward, especially with the cabinet looking like that. This radio is going to be around 50 years from now. I don't think I will. Well, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see ya. And thanks for the super thanks.